Okay, so take a look at the old gate, and here's the new one. Hey guys, it's Handy Jeff, and today I have a brand new nail gun, and we're gonna fix this because we bought a rental property with this gate, and let's just say it's seen better days, if you know what I mean. So we're gonna basically build a gate to replace this, and then we're gonna take it down and set it up. I've got some green board here, some of that's for another property, and then I've got some fence pickets here. So let the fun begin. Okay, so the first step is we're gonna see how big this gate actually is. It looks like we're about 44 3/4, but the way that this sets, this actually closes and sits on another piece of fence, so we can go 44 inches and that's not going to hurt anything. All right, I've got a couple sawhorses set up, but we're going to move some pickets and then set up some spacing, see what we got to do to get 44 inches. All right, so I've set up these two deck boards that I just had laying around. We're going to use those as a table. Basically what we're going to do is we're going to set our fence pickets right across on these boards until we get to 44 inches. Okay, so we're past 44. Let's take one picket away. That is almost 44 inches right there. Okay, so we're gonna get real technical with this. What we do is we've got some cardboard. We're just going to set a piece of cardboard in between each of these fence pickets to give us some spacing. I'm sure there's a much better, more technical way to do this, but you know what? We're doing it with what we got. Now we're going to go back through and do the top part. As you can see, we've got proper spacing. Let's see just how long this is. We're at 45 inches. I'll be happy with that. It's gonna overextend just a hair on the gate itself, but that's okay. All right, so this is just a 1x4 green board. We're gonna end up painting this whole thing anyway, so it doesn't matter that it's a green board, it's just what I had. We're gonna measure 44 7/8, mark it, and cut it. And then we're gonna do that twice. There's one. Perfect. Now we've got our two pieces of green board that we're ready to use, and basically all we're going to do is lay them across here, which it seems like I must have bumped this while I was cutting, so that happens. Let's just reset our spacers. So what I am going to do here is I'm going to measure in on this dog ear 6 inches. Make myself a mark. That's where my board's gonna go. Then we're gonna come over to the other side here. Do the exact same thing. Of course, make ourselves a little mark on 6 inches. And that's where we're gonna put the board at. In case you didn't see that, my spacers fell. So let's go ahead and put our spacers back in because we wanna make sure this is all even the entire time. All right, perfect. Okay, so what we're gonna do is we're gonna take our board, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to line, got to gently move these spacers, but my 6-inch mark is where I would like my board bottom to be. I'm going to squeeze this down so that it is to my length that I want it to be. And now, the fun part. You want to make sure there's nothing below here. So as you can see, I'm not going to hit anything. I'm going to go ahead and fire up my nail gun. And if you guys want one of these, this is a Milwaukee. It's beautiful. I've used these before. I've just never bought one. I've always used like my Boss's or something. And yeah, framing nails might be a little bit overkill for this, but it's going to hold. So if you want one of these, just go ahead and look up down and below in the description. I will link you to one of these and it'll be on Amazon. If you buy from that affiliate link, I get a little bit of a commission. Anyway, we're just gonna start out, we're gonna knock one straight through here. Boom, that's gonna be held that way then. Can't get ahead of ourselves. We gotta put our spacers back. So make sure your spacers stay attached like they're supposed to, and make sure you're, pretty close to level. Now the hardest part during this entire process is to make sure that your spacers stay where they need to be. So as you can tell, I've lost 2 down at the far end. So I'm gonna go put those back. Now we get 110% hammer these in, but trying to keep everything from vibrating would be a mess. Make sure we're on our line, we are. Make sure we're as squeezed together as we're gonna get. Perfect, now let's just drive one in here. That'll keep it from moving. Perfect. Now I'm gonna put 2 nails in each one of these boards, which is great. So now the easy part. This is why we use a nail gun. Now, these aren't gonna move anymore. We could still move those bottom parts more than likely. So now we gotta put our spacers back in down there and just lather, rinse, repeat to what we did with this bad boy. So yeah, chances are they probably didn't move much, but I just wanna make sure that this is completely spaced evenly, because somebody, someplace, it's gonna bother. Is it me? No, I don't live at this house. But if I'm replacing this gate, I want it to be at least semi-sturdy and look semi-right. There we go. Same exact thing as before. We're gonna measure out 6 inches and mark it. And we're going to take our board, go ahead and line it up. You know, these pickets, they aren't perfect, but that's also why they are about $1.50 a piece. So yeah, it's not going to be completely even, but it's going to be close. And that's all I care about. Nail gun, 1 on each end again. Then we're going to go ahead and tap 2 in each picket again. Oh, I'm out of nails. That's why sometimes you just got to reload. Now we're good to go once again. Okay, so this is the incorrect and less accurate way to do this, but what I'm going to do is just go ahead and take my miter saw and cut a 45 degree on here. Bring it over here to our boards. I'm going to lay it across so that it's flat. I'm going to take my marker and I'm going to mark it here. I wish I had a straight edge. I unfortunately don't. So now it's time to go back and cut this thing up. And I know there's going to be somebody in the comments like, oh my God, you're not measuring anything. Sometimes you eyeball it, all right? If you squint, it's mint. All right, now is this going to be perfect? Probably not, but that's okay. So I'm just lining my saw blade up with my original mark. I'm going to go ahead and give her a little chop chop here. It's not perfect, and I could have done a better angle probably to get it so that it would fit on all of the pickets, but I've got a feeling that this Z formation is going to be just fine and dandy for the amount of strength that it needs to have. Everybody's favorite thing, nail gun. And I'm just going to go ahead and I'm going to put 1 on each board just to add the strength. You know what? Maybe it'll split, maybe it won't. Perfect. Got a little bit on the edge there. I'm gonna try this one. That is definitely gonna split. Yep, that's okay. It's all right. So now we have a gate. It's got some strength to it. Okay, so because this is going to have a hinge on it, I'm actually going to use what wood I have left over. I'm gonna need Looks like 5 1/4. Just add a little extra support bracing there. So I need 5 1/4 cut out of this on the flat end. I'll be right back. Now the object on this is to have something that is extremely tight fitting. So normally if I was going to take time and I had the time to do it, I would use wood filler and actually set this up so that it would be completely flat. You would have no idea that there's a joint here, but desperate times. So once again, let's knock a couple nails through her. Now, that's got a little bit extra bracing, which once again is great because that's the goal. So while I was moving this out there, because I want to set it up for paint, I quickly realized that I put my supports on the wrong side. So we're just gonna put another run of supports along here as well. So we got 10 1/2 is gonna be tight. Okay, so same thing I did over on the other side. I'm gonna stick this in here, just like so. And I'm gonna nail all of this down. You can tell me because of where I set that. Need to saw off just one little corner. Now you might be like, Handy Jeff, you seem very rushed today. And that is because I am. I gotta get this done because I got tenants that have moved in already on this property. Yeah, we're not perfect on this. And you know what? It's just gonna have to sit that way. That's gonna have to be okay. All right, so now we're gonna tap, tap, tap-a-roo. Make sure you don't run this into your hand. That would suck. So now we've got supports on both sides. Now, in case you didn't know, this looks like a pin cushion on the other side. So let's take care of that. Because I'm using framing nails that have some length to them. They are galvanized, but we need to trim them down. So be careful. Don't poke yourself. Set this down. And we're gonna go get the handy dandy multi-tool. Handy dandy multi-tool. So yeah, you could do this completely with a hacksaw if you needed to, but I have one, so I'm gonna use the multi-tool. Well, in case you can't tell, that blade is missing teeth. So it looks like I'm going to my Sawzall. All right, so this should make it go faster. No more pokey boys. That's the important thing. Now, at some point I'm gonna have to run a magnet over here to pick up all of these nails, but that's okay. Okay, so this is going to be a little bit less ideal than I wanted it to be because I'm using this kind of a nap roller. I thought I had a better one. I don't. So we're gonna do with what we got. I'm gonna go ahead and open our paint. This is a nice paint from Sherwin-Williams. I am a pro customer because I have so many rental properties that they allow me to get pro pricing, so it's worth it. And yeah, I don't have a painter's tool either, so we're doing it the old school way with a screwdriver. Go ahead and give her a little stir, and then I'm going to pour it down into my tray. I'm not going to worry too much about spilling it on this wood because that's literally what we're going to be painting. I do have cardboard underneath though, just in case. We're gonna give this a speed roll and let it sit overnight. I do have to go out and get some other tools. I'll get a better roller, and I'm gonna need to pick up some smaller bolts. So we're just gonna dump a little. That's way too much, but that's just what we're dealing with because that thing was full. They treated me well there. Stick this in here, set this on the ground. We're gonna go ahead and give this a quick roll. So I'm not gonna make you watch me roll this entire thing, but you get the gist. Well, the good news is it's partially painted. I got the right rollers this time, so I'll be able to do it a little bit better. And we've just got to do one more coat of paint and then we're ready to hang this thing. And we're gonna refinish some things from the old gate. So if you check this out, we're gonna come over here and we're actually gonna reuse this stuff, even though it looks awful right now. We're gonna wire wheel brush it and then paint it. I will say, shout out to the Sherwin-Williams Latitude. My paint sales guy recommended it because what we're doing, it's cold out here. It's 40 some degrees and normally paint would take forever to dry. This stuff is completely dry. Like, it's pretty amazing. I layered it on pretty heavy yesterday. It's looking pretty good. So we're gonna get to painting. You get the gist. I'm not gonna make you watch all of this, but I'm gonna go ahead and paint the other side after this is dry. And that's the good thing about this paint and the wood being unfinished, is that it soaks it right up. So it should be dry to the touch in just a little while. So while we were waiting on that to dry, we're gonna see if we can salvage these suckers. I do have some bolts that I bought, but I only got 2 square nuts and I actually need 4, so you know how that goes. So anyway, I'm gonna just go ahead and attempt to remove these. Well, we have a hinge. And the important thing, so let's find out, this will fit on the bolts I bought. And look at that, like a glove. Good deal. So we're gonna paint these. All right, so essentially what we're gonna do is we're gonna take a wire wheel brush. We're gonna try to clean these off. I'm also gonna attempt to remove as much rust from these these square nuts as possible, but we'll see what ends up happening. All right, we've just got some ultra matte black paint, and we're just gonna spray a little bit on there. Well, you guys know how spray paint works, so we're just gonna let this dry. Once it does, I'll flip it over, paint all the sides of it, and then we'll work on flipping this bad boy and painting it. Until then, I'm gonna go ahead and edit this video while I'm sitting here waiting. Cheers, guys. Okay, so take a look at the old gate, and here's the new one. We're gonna go ahead and get picked up, load this thing up in the old Gladiator, and run down to the property to hang her up. Well, it just so happens that the tenants showed up today, and I left the hinges at my house, so I have to go grab them. And so I'm probably not gonna explain how I'm doing everything via the voice. I'm just going to do a voice over, so that way I'm not acting like a crazy person talking to a camera while these people I just met move in. All right, guys, thanks for watching. It's been Handy Jeff. We'll see you in another video. Did I realize that I hung the gate upside down? Not until today. Not until I came back down to finish hooking up everything, because I was in such a hurry when I was here originally. All that effort to hang the dang thing upside down, but you know what? That's the way it's staying. Anyway, thank you guys so much for watching. This has been Handy Jeff, and you know, mistakes happen. I only expect that gate to last a few years because of the material it was made out of. And when that happens, I'll change it around. But thank you so much for watching. We'll see you in another video.